saying that the purpose and objectives of internal control includes safeguarding assets from what? Theft, fraud, or misuse, ensuring the accuracy and reliability of financial reporting, promoting compliance with the law, regulations, and what? Organizational what? Policy, and what? Enhancing operational what? Efficiency and what? Effectiveness. Okay, this is why we put in internal control. Get it? I believe this, as I explained earlier, is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's move on. Internal control systems. We are looking at the components. What are the components of what? Internal control systems. We have 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 components of what? Internal control systems. And they are control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and what? Communication, and what? Monitoring. These are the 5 components of what? Internal control system. Now when we talk about control environment, it sets the tone for organizations what? Internal control. Then when we look at risk assessment, it identifies and what? Evaluates what? The risks that could impact the achievement of what? The objective. Okay. So while the control environment will set the tone for the organizational internal control, then you have to what? Assess what? Risk. Okay, that will impact on the organizational what? Achievement or goal. Then you move on to what? The control activity. Okay, now with the control activities, policies, procedures, and practices, okay, are established in the organization, okay, to address what? The risk that has been what? Are likely to be identified in the what? Risk assessments. And then we move on to what? Information and what? Communication. So in information and communication, it ensures relevant information is what? Identified, okay, and then captured. And then after you identify and capture it, what do? You communicate it. Okay, and then the last one, which is monitoring. You have to what? Monitor the system. Okay, you have to regularly assess the system. Okay, to ensure what? To ensure that the internal control systems are working properly or not. If they are not working effectively, then you need to what? You need to what? You need to work on that. Okay. So, and if you don't monitor, will you be able to know whether your internal controls that are put in place are working or not? Yeah. So it is with what? The monitoring component that is able to what? Assess those things, so that you know the decisions, the right decisions to take. Right. Component of internal control systems. So we are saying that a system of internal control consists of what? 5 key components that work together to help the organization what? Achieve their what? Objectives, manage risk, and ensure the integrity of their what? Operations. So we've looked at this. We are saying that we have the control environment, the risk assessment, control activity, information and communication, and what? Monitoring. Let's move on. Now we are going to look into details what control environment is. Already we said from the previous slide, we know that it sets what? The tool. Is that what? Yeah. So we are saying that The control environment is the foundation of what? Internal what? Control system. Control environment is the foundation of what? Internal control system. It sets the tone for the organization and influences how other components are what? Implemented. What are the key features of what? Control environment. Commitment to what? Integrity and what? Ethics. Okay? Top management and the board of directors demonstrate a commitment to what? Ethical value and what? Integrity. Organizational structure. We all know what organizational structure is. Right? What is our organizational structure? Yes. What is an organizational structure? Who can give me draw an organizational structure on the board? How? Auditor. So the auditor reports to the Puma director. Anyway, that is your company's organizational structure. Okay, so that's your organizational structure. Okay, so this is an organizational structure. So, according to which company? An organizational structure of which company? The Joyce company. The Joyce company. So, what is an organizational structure? Look at this and define it. Company, right? Okay, so this is the organizational structure of what? What is that?
Special estate.
Okay. So this is how an organizational structure what looks like. Okay. So it shows that the CEO is the what? Is the head of the estate. Okay. And then right under him, you have the human resource, you have the advisor, and then you have what? The accountant, and they all report to what? The CEO. Okay? And under the human resource, he has what? The marketing head, and then the marketing officer. They report to what? The human resource what? Director, the HR. Okay? And then his responsibility extends to what? The manager and the what? The auditor. I don't know why the auditor is reporting to human resources. That is what they do in the organization. At least it would have been advisable for the auditor to report to the CEO, so that if the auditors, if it's an internal auditor, he reports to what? Management. Okay? Of course, the human resource might be what? Part of management. But it's advisable for the auditor to report to the CEO, okay? Because it's the CEO who is what? The head, okay? Or you can extend the line to this place to indicate that it reports to what? The top what? Management, okay? You see, the back. Next time if you come late, we will lock the door. You can't become late and then you'll be distracting us. So that is it. So an organizational structure is what? A diagram. Okay? That shows what? The lines of responsibility of what? Staff or employees within what? An organization. Okay? It shows their hierarchy and what? Their line of what? Responsibility, okay, or responsibilities, right? So when you take an organizational structure of a company, you should know who reports to who and who can't report to who. You realize that a marketing officer does not report to the CEO. So there is nothing that links him to the what? CEO. He doesn't even report to the what? Human resource director. He reports to his head, and his head reports to the data. So this is what? An organizational structure. And we are saying that the organizational structure, including lines of responsibility and what? Authority. So these are the lines of what? Responsibility. And their authority, okay, is what? Shown. You realize that the human resource director, the advisor, the accountant, they are on the same what? Level. Okay, they have the same level of what? Authority. Okay? Right? Do you get it?
Yes.
Right. And then it must what? Support what? Internal control what? Mechanism. Some people sat down and came out with this organizational structure. They put it in place and it's part of what? Internal control. Because they are saying that this is the way things should be. Okay? Marketing officer, you can't report to the human resource directors directly. You must report to your head, and then the head will report to what? The HR. Their internal control system that have been what? Put in place. Okay. By reward, Riris special estate. Yes. Me, my R and L. I don't want problem here. I don't want to say release. If you have made it release, it sounds better. Release. Then the next key feature of control environment is what? Hiring and what? Training. We are saying that the organization must hire and train. They must what? Hire and train competent what? Personnel, and provide them with what? The necessary resources, okay, and support them. It is an internal control system that has been put in place. Okay, you must make sure you hire qualified people, and then when you hire them, you must constantly what? Train them so that they will always be what? Up to date. Okay, they always meet current trends. You get it? Yeah, you can agree with me that after this semester, if you go home and stay there for 3 months, you will have forgotten whatever you did here. Most of it. So if you don't constantly train or read, you will forget. The same way when you complete school and are working, and then you don't constantly go for training, you will forget. You understand? And you will know what is happening. That's why continuous training is what? Important. Then communication. Okay? Effective communication channels are in place to what? Share what? Information about what? The importance of what? Internal controls and what? Responsibilities for what? Implementing them. No, communication is very essential. Communication is very, very essential. Okay? Right. So we are saying that when there is effective communication channels, okay, we are saying this is the communication channel of what? Of the human resources department. Okay? The marketing officer reports to the marketing head, and then the marketing head reports to the HR, and the HR will go to the CEO. This is the channel of the what? Of communication within the HR department. Okay? So relay it so that everybody knows where he must go when there is a need to. The marketing officer doesn't just stand up and walk to the advisor or to the CEO. That is not his channel. You get it? So all those things must be what? Spelled out. Now, after that, you have to what? Assess your risk. Very, very what? Important. You have to what? Assess your risk level. The risk level of what? The what? Organization. So that if there is any risk trying to come up, you immediately what? Put in measures to what? It. So the risk assessment component what? Involves the identification. You identify. Okay? And what? When you identify, you evaluate it. Okay? Those risks that could what? Impact on the what? Achievement of what? Organization's what? Effect, objective. Okay? So the risk will probably prevent you from achieving your what? Objective. So the earlier you identify them and mitigate them, the better. Okay? So identification and evaluation, the likely risks that are likely to what? Sprang up. And then what? You deal with them so that it doesn't have any effect on what? The organization's what? Effectiveness. What are the key elements? You are saying that you have to what? Identify your risk. After you identify the risk, what do? You analyze the risk. And then you respond to it. Why do you respond to it? To be able to what? To be able to what? What? To be able to what? To mitigate it. Okay? So you develop strategies to what? Mitigate or what? Manage it. Yeah. Let's move on. Control activities. So now we've looked at 2 components. We are on the 3rd component, right? We've looked at what? What was the first component we looked at? Control environment. We moved on to what? Risk assessment. And then we are on what? Control activity. Now, control activities are what? Policies, procedures, and what? Practices put in place to what? Address the what? Identified what? Risk. Okay? These controls can be what? Preventive. Okay? So the controls that we put in place can prevent what? The risk from what? Happening. Or that controls can what? Detect what? The risk. Okay? Or it can what? Correct it. Okay? So we are saying that that is the nature of what? The control activity. It either prevent, detect, or what? Correct the risk. Do you have any questions? Madam Secretary, when you are closing the door, take your time. Or when they are, can we ask them to close it before they leave there, so that you wouldn't be doing the banking. I can see that everything of yours, when you are doing it, you add some level of force. Everything. But with some things you have to take your time, otherwise you hurt yourself. Oh, it's true. With some things, if you don't take your time, you end up hurting yourself. It's not everything that you have to catch. It's not true. Or don't you agree with me? Hello. All right. Okay. So these controls, as I said, can be what? Preventive, detective, or what? Corrective in what? Nature. And includes what? Authorization and what? Approval what? Procedures. Okay? So we establishing a clear criteria and guidelines for authorizing and approving what? Transaction and what? Activity. When you what? Put in what? Authorization and approval procedures to ensure that there is what? Whatever disbursement or whatever payment are made, it is properly what? Authorized. Okay? It goes through the what? Required approved procedures. Then you are what? Ensuring what? Control what? Activity. I think I've cited this example before. Maybe in an organization, they may decide that before any payment is made, or there might be what? A memo to that effect, specifying the need for that product or for that service. Okay? So the memo would come from probably the department that needs that service or what? Or product. And then it will go to maybe the CEO, who is the head of the entity, for approval. And once he approves it, then he will direct it to what? Finance. These are what? The control activities that I'm walking you through some control activities in a company. And once it gets to finance, finance can't do payment without raising payment voucher. We can only make payment by raising what? Payment voucher. So they raise the payment voucher, indicating the amount and whoever the payment is going to. That must be approved by, let's say, either the head of account or the director. And once it is approved, you what? Attach what? It to what? The memo. And then you write a check to the what? To that effect. If it is $5,000, if it is $10,000, you write it to what? You write it to that effect. And then what? You staple it. You keep it. You inform whoever is to provide the service. Okay? Or the product. The person comes in, he must sign on the payment voucher that he has received it. Okay? And then that payment can be made. Of course, once you raise the check, it means it is paid by what? Check. So whoever the check is due to, you go to the bank and cash it. This is the procedure that payment goes through before it is effective. So that is a control activity. And anytime payment is made, you must make sure you see all these requirements. Okay? Right. Do you understand that point? Do you understand? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? I should move on. Okay. You are saying that there should be what? Segregation of what? Duties. It's also a control activity. Okay? What I just said, it goes through several hands. It goes through the CEO, it goes through the director of finance, it goes through the account officer, okay, and then whoever is going to receive it. So that there will be segregation of duty, so that one person can just start the process and end it, and do whatever he or she likes. Okay? So when you segregate duties, there is transparency and it's able to reduce fraud. So it is also a control activity. That is what put in what place. You know, if one person has monopoly over everything, the person can decide to do whatever he or she likes. And that monopoly is not your advice. Some years back, it was only Vodafone. It was only Vodafone that was in the system. Right? It wasn't called Vodafone then, but it was 020. Okay? And because they had a monopoly, you can't even buy the chip. Then, I mean, in the 90s, if you want to buy Vodafone chip, it's around 100 Ghana cedis, then 100 Ghana cedis. And it's only big rich people who uses mobile phones. Okay? They decided to break that monopoly by segregating what? The duties. So now, when President Kufo came, he decided to allow MTN to come in, Tigo to come in. They weren't called Tigo then, they weren't called MTN. But the 0244 came in, the 0277, I think 0277 came before 024. And then they started making promotion. Buy one, get one free. It was like 40 cedis. And then I remember myself and my small brother going to buy it, and then we share the chip. I'm still using that to go number now. Okay. Mine was 56. This was something I've forgotten. He's in the US, he's a professor there now. So, but that's what I'm saying. That is how it is. Okay? Because there is monopoly, because the monopoly was broken, you can now use food because that's damn cheaper. Then how dare you use food? Okay? Even the workers can't use food. Now chip is around 5 cedis, 10 cedis, not it. Yeah. So that is how it is. Okay. So when you segregate duties, yes? Any question? Any reservation? What? I had said. Okay. So you are saying that dividing responsibility to prevent any single individual from having too much control over the process. Okay. When you segregate duties, the competition, when there's competition, it brings out what? It brings out what? It brings out what? Innovation. It reduces cost. Okay? And then there are a lot of advantages there. Alright. Physical what? Safeguard. Implementing security measures to protect asset from theft, damage, and what? Unauthorized what? Asset. Unauthorized what? Assets. So you can see all these things are part of what? Physical what? Safeguards. Okay? Information processing control. Ensuring the accuracy and completeness of what? Data and information used in what? Financial reporting and what? Decision what? Making. Okay? That is also a control activity. Reconciliation and what? Review procedures. Conducting regular reconciliation and review of transaction and account to identify error and what? Irregularities. You have to reconcile the account, okay, regularly, so that if there is any irregularities, you'll be able to identify them. What one thing do we normally reconcile? Yes, what one thing do we normally reconcile? We've all done accounting. I saw my dear sister dozing off. I wanted to finish reading this, then I can wake her up. But I think she's awake now. You were dozing. Two of us. You had your eyes closed, or you were meditating. You were thinking. Were you thinking? No comments. All right. So what are, yeah, would you help us? What do you normally reconcile? Yeah. Yeah, bank reconciliation. Don't have it to that bank reconciliation statement. So you reconcile what? The cash book with what? The bank statement. Yeah, because some customers may decide to pay directly into the bank. It doesn't pass through your hand. Is that what it is? Yeah. So with that, it is at the end of the month when you go for the bank reconciliation before you be able to detect it. And then you reconcile it with what? Your cash book, right? You prepare your what? Bank reconciliation statement. Nicely. Then you what? You rectify any what? Unpresented and what? Unpredicted what? Check. Any outstanding balances and all that, you rectify them. Alright. So we are on what? Information and what? Communication. Information and communication involves ensuring that what? Relevant information is what? Identified. Relevant information, not irrelevant information. Relevant information. If it is not relevant, you wouldn't identify it. Is that not it? Yes. Captured and what? Communicated what? Effectively within the what? Organization. Okay? So that is what information and what? Communication does as a component of what? The internal control system. Yeah. So what are the key elements there? We are saying that key elements include information what? Flow. Okay? Yeah. Establishing processes for what? The timely flow of what? Information to the right people within what? The organization. Okay? You must do that. You have to what? Ensure data what? Integrity. Okay? You have to ensure that there is accuracy and reliability. Okay? Of the financial and what? Operational what? Information. Yeah. Communication channel. Very, very important. You have to provide effective channel for what? Reporting issues. Okay? Like our dear class captain did. In her organizational structure, she was able to provide a clear what? Channel, okay? Of what? Communication. He's saying that the auditor shouldn't report to the accountant, but the accountant is responsible for preparing the financial statement. So he should report it to the HR, and then the HR will go and tell the CEO. Maybe if he tells the accountant prepare or rectify it. Okay? So that is what? Is what? Is what? Reporting what? Reporting what? Channels. Okay? In respect to what? Audit. Okay. Feedback mechanism. In every, when I'm teaching, at the point, I'll pause and ask, are you okay? Do you understand? I want feedback. Okay? It's very necessary because having your feedback will tell me whether you have with me following, understanding, or not. Okay? So when I try to involve you, it's because I want to what? Follow what? Feedback what? Mechanism. That is what? Relevant in what? Internal control system as well. Okay? So we are saying that addressing identified weaknesses or deficiency in a timely manner to improve what? The control system. Yes. You change the slide. You gave them a different slide. No problem. The right thing is here, so let's.
I changed the slide. So you are reading correct versions. Yes.
I don't get you. Are we not on feedback?
I thought you were not.
Yeah, we are not.
Yes, so I moved the year, but you were still talking about feedback.
Okay. Okay, so we are asking me to move on. Okay. All right, I get you. So we are on what? monitoring. Okay, so we have successfully dealt with what? We have successfully dealt with control environment, risk assessment, control activity, information and communications, and now we are on what? So you see, please, I'm trying to teach you some feedback mechanics. That's what I'm asking. I keep engaging. Some people, when you ask them, I see they are disturbing them. Some faces, when you look at it, it's like you are really scared to go close. But it can't scare me. In this class, I'm a lecturer. So, within this 3 hours, I'm controlling that was it. Yes. This class, you have control more than I do. In what situations? Is there in certain situations? Of course, in certain situations. Alright. So the monetary component involves what? Ongoing what? Assessment of what? Internal control what? Systems. Okay? So we are saying that it's not a one-off thing. Okay? Once you put in the internal control system, you have to be monitoring it. Okay, and it must be what? Ongoing, it must be a continuous process. Okay, so that you'll be able to what? Effectively what? Address issues as and when. You get it? Yeah. Key elements include ongoing what? Monitoring. So regularly assessing the internal control systems through a day-to-day operational and what? Management what? Activities. Okay? Yeah. And also separate what? Evaluations. Periodic evaluations by what? Internal and external what? Parties. Such as what? Internal audit and what? External audit. Yeah. Corrective actions. Addressing identified weakness or deficiency in a timely manner to improve the what? Control system. So you can only correct actions when you have what? Monitored it, okay, evaluate it. Then you'll be able to identify the weaknesses to be able to what? Correct it. Is that what it is? Are you happy or sad? Are you happy or sad? Is that how your face is? When I want to talk to your girlfriend, is that how you do? You come here every morning and give me, try your face. Please, who will try your face to your girlfriend? Not me. Don't be giving me nightmares. Don't be giving me nightmares. Alright, so these 5 components work in what? Harmony to create a what? Robust internal what? Control what? System. That helps organizations manage what? Risk. You have a nice face, handsome face, you still want to pretend as if your face is okay. How I wish I had your face. How you very handsome. Then you come and sit in front, you go and sit at the back too. You sit in front and you speak your face as if say, I'm striving, I'm fighting with you on your girlfriend. Am I taking your girlfriend? I don't know what is about. You see me talking to your girlfriend, you want to that's not yeah. Which secondary school did you like? Where? The Craft Man. You went to a new school. Which year? You compared it to the 2024. Alright. So that is it. We are saying that these 5 components that we have what? Outlined and learned. Okay? They what? They work in what? Harmony. To create what? A robust what? Internal control what? Systems. Okay? That helps organization what? Manage what? Risk. Okay? To manage their risk effectively, they what? To safeguard their assets. Okay? And these are the objectives of internal control what? The kind of systems. Ensure the accuracy of financial reporting and what? Achieve what? The objective. Okay, so effective internal control contributes what? Good governance, transparency, and what? Confidence among what? Stakeholders. Auditors use various methods to document and assess the system of internal control within what? An organization. These methods include what? Narrative note, flow charts, and what? Questionnaires. So that's what we are going to look at next. Okay? We start by looking at what? Narrative what? Notes. Okay? And we are saying that narrative notes are what? Written what? Written descriptions or what? Explanations of an organization's what? Internal control what? System. Auditors use plain language to what? Provide a detailed account of how the controls are designed and what? Implemented. Is that okay? Is it this class that I asked them to look for the difference between management letter and representation letter? It wasn't this class. Okay, I'm asking you now. What is the difference between management letter and representation letter? Okay, so you go and find out next week when you can come and tell me.
The difference between what?
Management letter and what? Letter of what? Representation or representation what? Letter.
I know it.
You know it, what is it?
Management letter. And representative letter.
In order to know. Yes, can anyone help me? Are you going to help me? Yes, with the difference. Okay, so next week, please find out next week when you come. You look at it, okay? There is a difference, okay? One comes from the auditor to management, and the other comes from what? Management to what? The auditor. Okay. That is it. All right. Use in what? Auditing. Auditors typically start their assessment with what? Narrative what? Notes. Okay. All right. So we've looked at the definition of narrative notes, right? And we are saying that auditors use plain language to provide detailed account of what? How the controls are designed and what? Implemented. And how do we use narrative notes in what? Audit. That's what we are about to look at. Okay. We have all noticed it. So some of you, the way you look, as if said, you are the only person who has it. Keep your energy level high. Okay. I've been talking. I should be feeling more. I should be feeling more what? Hunger. Yeah. Because I'm talking from my stomach. Taking it from my stomach. Alright. So auditors typically start the assessment with what? Narrative what? Notes. They gather information by what? Interviewing what? Management and staff, and reviewing what? Process what? Manual, policy what? Documents, and other what? Written what? Material. This is how they what? They get their what? Narrative notes. Okay? Narrative note helps auditors what? Understand the control environment. Okay? The control activities and the what? And the organization's overall approach to what? Risk management. Auditors use these narratives to identify what? Control weakness, areas for what? Improvement, and what? Potential what? Risk. What are the benefits of narrative notes? They are saying that narrative notes provides a clear and comprehensive what? Overview of what? Internal what? Controls, making it easier for auditors to assess their what? Effectiveness. They can be used to what? Create a reference document that helps auditor and management understand how controls what? Operates. This two are some of the benefits of what? Narrative. Now, flowcharts. Any questions? Anything that needs further clarification or explanation? You understand how to this point? Everything can go back. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. This one here, sir. Alright. Flowcharts are graphical what? Representations. Okay? Is this a graphical representation? This one, is it a graphical representation? It's a graphical representation. So you can also say organizational structure is a graphical representation of what? So I said that flow, that's how you learn, so you'll be able to remember when you forget. Flowcharts are graphical what? Representation that illustrates the flow of what? Processes. Okay, including what? Sequence of what? Steps and what? Decision what? Points. So flowchart is concentrated on what? The flow of what? Processes. Okay? And decision points. Whilst organizational chart is what? Concentrated on what? The hierarchy and authority. Positions. The alliance of responsibilities. This is the difference between organizational chart and what? And flowchart. Alright. Auditors use symbols and what? Connectors to what? Depict the control procedures in a what? Visual what? Format. Yeah. How are flowcharts used in what? Audit. That's what we are going to look at. We are saying that flowcharts are helpful for what? Auditors to what? Visualize what? The entire process and the sequence of what? Controls in what? Place. And the sequence of controls what? In place. Now when you look at this organizational chart, you see it helps you to what? Visualize what? The entire hierarchy within the what? Organization. Is so simple. If you have to write this, you have to write that the CEO is the head of this, and then under him are what? The accountant, and then you realize that it may not even go on the board, and it becomes more difficult to work. Remember, you get it? So if you are able to what? Whatever you learn, if you are able to summarize it, okay, and put it in a diagram form, to be able to what? Or to help you what? Remember, it also helps in what? Your studies. That's why some people come out with what? Acronyms. When they are learning, they come out with short acronyms that they can remember, so that immediately they forget the entire thing, they remember the acronym. You'll be able to remember whatever the acronym was. Develop strategies in order to what? Be able to what? Remember things. Okay? So that it will make what? Your learning a bit what? Easier. Because I know learning is not what? Easy. Especially when you have other responsibilities. Okay? Like you have to your personal staff, you don't know it. You have to WhatsApp. You have to make time. Okay? You are not just schooling, you are what? Educating. You are what? Going what? Through education. So all those things. To be able to make time for other things, develop strategies in order to what? Help you quickly remember some of the stuff you what? Learn. Alright. Auditors can identify control points, decision notes, and the what? Movement of what? Transactions or data throughout the what? Process. Okay? Flowcharts make it easier to what? Pinpoint potential what? Bottleneck. Okay? Yeah. When I saw this, I realized that there was a mistake in what? The organizational chart. Is that not it?
Yes.
Yeah. So it helps you to identify quickly. You look at it and now, if you know, you know. You can identify the bottleneck in this organization. And what is the bottleneck here? What is the bottleneck? What? Is that? What's the bottleneck in this organizational chart? What? The auditor reporting to manager, human resource manager. Human resource manager, the money there. So, I employ for interview. They are saying that the internal auditor should report to human resource manager, then to the human resource director. No, it is a bottle. So you identify it and then you correct it. And then you advise them to what? Do the proper thing. Okay? So it easily helps you to what? But mind you, this is not a full chart. This is an organizational structure. I'm just using it to explain the flow chart. Alright. Where are we? Are we on the benefits? Flowcharts are a valuable tool for what? Auditors to communicate their what? Understanding of what? Internal control to management and what? Stakeholders. They simplify the process of what? Identify control weaknesses or inefficiency and serve as a visual aid during what? Audit what? Presentation. You get it up to this point. Can we move on? So you now know the difference between the flow chart and our organizational chart. Right? Right? You know the difference between flow chart and organizational chart? Okay. Let's move on. And then the last one under what we are looking at is what? Questionnaires. Okay. Is what? Questionnaires. Okay. So we looked at what? The first one was what? Narrative notes. And then we looked at what? Flow charts. And we are on questionnaires. And this three, they are saying they are used for what? What? They are what? Alright. So these are what? Methods to what? Document and what? Assess what? The what? The systems of what? Internal what? Control. Right. Auditors use questionnaires. We all know questionnaires. We all know about it. You've seen a questionnaire before. Yes. You've answered some before. Yes. So auditors use questionnaires, okay, to gather information from what? Management and what? Staff. About what? The design and what? Operation of what? Internal control. Okay. So if they need understanding of certain things about what? Yeah, the what? The what? Operation of what? The internal control. They will develop what? Questionnaires. Okay? And they will administer it to what? Staff and management. But once they answer, they will flip through, they will be able to get what? Those understanding. How do they use it? How do they use it? Auditors distribute what? Questionnaires to what? Relevant personnel to understand their knowledge of and involvement in internal control processes. Okay? Responses to the questionnaires helps auditors what? Assess the what? Control environment and what? Control activity and the what? Perception of what? Control effectiveness within the what? Organization. Right? Questionnaires can be used to gather what? Feedback on potential control what? Deficiency or areas for what? Improvement. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Benefits. Questionnaires provide auditors with what? Insight from what? Those directly involved in the what? Process. Okay? Offering a different perspective from what? Management what? Views. Okay? Because you know that mostly flow charts and narrative notes will come from management. They will decide. Okay? They will decide the lines, the flow of what? Processes and what? Procedures. So don't do that. The organizational chart is done by what? Management. Okay? But once you administer questionnaires, then you administer it to the staff, then you can get their perspective to it's an advantage or a benefit. They can be what? Customized to what? Focus on what? Specific areas of what? Interest, or to address particular control objectives. We can move on. We can move on. If you don't have any questions, then unless you have any questions, but if you don't have any questions, then we move on. Now we are on what? Information technology control. Right? We are on what? Information technology control. And this falls under what? It falls under what? Is this one of the components of the internal control system? Yes. It is. Yes. So we have looked at how many components so far? Have we looked at 5? You see, we are not following. We've looked at what? No, we are looking at the components are 5. What you are talking about is the method, right? Look at the difference. You see, I want you to, otherwise you get confused in the examination. Information technology control, is it a component? So, which components have we looked so far? Looked at in detail so far? We've looked at control environment, yes. Risk assessment, control activities,
Information and communication.
and now we are on what? Monitoring, right? We've done this one. Now we are on what? We've done this one. The methods, we've done that one. And now we are on information technology what? Control. Yeah, we are here. So, IT controls are what? Designed to what? Manage and secure what? An organization's what? Information what? Technology, infrastructure, and what? System. They encompass a wide range of what? Activities and what? Processes aimed at what? Ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of what? Data and what? Information. Some key category of what? IT controls include what? Access control. I say that access control restricts and monitor. Access control restricts and monitor access to computer system, data, and what? Application. This control ensures that only authorized individuals have access to what? Specific what? Resources. You have to limit those who have access to what? The data. Okay? Then you are what? Safeguarding what? Information. You don't just allow anyone access to certain information. Okay? Only those who are authorized. They must have what? Maybe is it password or what? What? They must have the access, the access to what? Those informations. So that what? There will be what? Confidentiality, integrity, and what? Availability of data and what? Information. Okay? If you want to ensure that information or integrity, you want to what? Protect what? The confidentiality of the information, then you have to limit access to what? Those information. Okay? You have to restrict them. Okay? And monitor access to computer system data and what? Data application. Now examples include user what? Authentication. Okay? Example, usernames and what? Password. Okay? You need a username and password to be able to access the information. So that if you are not authorized, you can't access it. Because those who are authorized, they are those who the computer will be able to identify them, to be able to access it. You get it. Role-based access control and user privilege what? Management. Okay? Alright. Change management what? Control. Change management controls govern the process of what? Making changes to what? The organization's what? IT what? System. Applications and what? Infrastructure. They include procedures for what? Requesting, reviewing, approving, testing, and what? Implementing what? Changes, as well as what? Rollback procedures in case of what? Issue. Do you get that one? Do you get it? Data backup and recovery control. Okay? Data backup control involves what? Creating regular backups of critical data and information to protect against data loss. You are saying that whatever data or information you have, make sure you have a backup. Okay? So that once the information gets missing, then what? You can fall on us for backup. I was telling the level 3 and the beginning that if you have a wife, you must have a backup. And the beginning seems not to understand. You have a wife, you have to have a backup. No. If your wife divorces you, you know that what? Money. But okay, for those who have money, they can have backup.
No.
Is that?
No, backup is different one. Like, if you have money, you don't need a backup.
No. I'm saying that's the realities on the ground. That most married men are having backups. Oh yes. And they will always have backups. But the fact that your husband has a backup doesn't mean your husband doesn't have. No, as for women it is not allowed. Women, they are precious. Okay? They are precious and they must keep their precious. How can you be married and be having a backup as a married man? It's serious. The point I'm trying to raise here is that if you are a wife and you catch your husband cheating, don't think that your husband doesn't love. So please never leave your husband on the fact that you caught your husband cheating on you. Because the most sincere, honest people can they cheat. They cheat. So okay, one day, because maybe not frying pan now with them. Who free more? What kind of people?
So you see,
a rich man
never be there. A rich man will never do it.
And you see, a cheating man will stop. A cheating man will stop. Will love the wife more than a man who never cheats. I'm just, do you understand the point? A cheating man who has repented. Because the wife, please. A cheating man who has repented because the wife had patience for him. With all the experiences and education, I'm telling you, he will love you more. Oh, look, I have women who have confided in me and shared their experiences. Their husband were cheating. They weren't even treating them well. Okay? But she was patient. She was always praying and advising the husband. Then, to talk, you raise your hand and you talk. Okay, you are not in my camera. If you want to raise your hand, just raise your hand and talk. Or speak up. Now listen to me. I'm telling you, we are educated. We are not schooling. I'm telling you the realities on the ground. I'm telling you the realities. I'm saying that the Bible says you should pray without ceasing. Oh, we don't have enough time. Listen to me and let's move on. Listen. I'm telling you the realities on the ground. Don't think that you're married and then your husband will never cheat on you. That one is just like 1%. Okay? But when you love your husband and then you realize that, oh, will you listen to me? And then you realize that, that is the time that you have to really show more love. Okay? The day that you feel that he cheated before coming home, make sure he cheats more by cheating on you too. Let him satisfy you so well. Next time when he's coming home, he won't get tired and exhausted before coming home. Because he knows that he has a responsibility to. I'm telling you, men, the character of men. Okay? But if he goes out and cheats and he comes home and you also give him a brother. Why is it that you are late today? Oh, I know what today I feel like, enjoying with you very. Make sure he does it. Next time you don't get tired before coming home.
Sir, we can make him tired.
Regularly, with time he will stop. I'm telling you, there is no man who is married, okay, and the wife listens and advises, and then the man will leave the wife and go and marry the girl or a side chick. The man will be with the side chick because the side chick is offering what the wife is not offering. You understand? Because the wife, when they marry, your side chick will talk to you with respect. Your side chick will talk to you with respect. Your wife will not. You get it? At a point in time, she will stop. There are certain things she will stop doing. Okay, because she feels she's not married. But remember, the longer you stay with someone, the more familiar you become with each other. So, and men, they like exploring. They like new things. Once you appeal to his conscience, and then he begins to think further, he will stop. And then now you come and live with me. Remember, at the age that you want to divorce, how many men are out there going to marry you? And what shows that the man you are going to marry wouldn't also cheat on you? So if you have one, okay, if you so you have 42 ones, twice a year. One check. How many shows are?
Really?
Oh, that's the best advice I can give you. Alright, let's move on. Let's move on. We are on what? Data what? Back up your what? Recovery what? Control. You are saying that, oh please, we are back. Okay. I don't know what your problem is. I'm telling you the realities of now. Even now, the guys are having 3-4 girlfriends, and you think you are the only one because you don't see. Now you are married. At this stage, they don't even have money. They have 3-4. When they begin to have money, when they marry, and then they say, "We're cheating back." Then you'll be wasting you'll be taking this wrong decision. Okay, if you love your husband, make sure before you enter, that you'll be able to accommodate his essence. And once you enter, please, unless the man wants to kill you, unless the man divorce you himself, unless he's doing things that you know is unbearable, become so serious. Talk to me. If you want to have a husband, no, I'm not. But if I'm married, I'll have a side chick. I can't guarantee it. but I see the fact that. Oh, I'm telling you the truth. This has to change my mind. I'm telling you the truth. I am saying. Oh, please. I said you want to talk.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. So, you see, I am telling you what other people are doing. Maybe me, I'm doing. But I'm telling you that when you marry, don't leave your husband because you don't. Stay in your marriage and maintain it. And marriage, if your marriage is 90% depends on you. If your marriage is 90% depends on you. You can make it. So if you want to maintain your food, have that mindset. Now they all call you answer. What is still also good? You are a woman, you are pressure. You were created for special. So maintain that uniqueness. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. I went to a wise listen now. Remember how many times you prayed before you had a husband? Now you got him back. Then you said you are going to be
Get someone like that. Yeah.
What I'm not saying that who has get a husband like that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in case it happens, okay, don't leave me. That is not what I'm saying. Actually, you catch me, we go and focus that. I know this so much. Come, let's go. I want to allow that side to be taken. Okay, network security control. Network security control protects the organization's what? Network. Okay. Infrastructure from what? Unauthorized what? Access. Malware and other security what? Threats. These controls include what? Firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and what? And encryption what? Protocol. Okay? Right. Let's move on. Vulnerability management control. Vulnerability management control involves what? Identifying and what? Addressing what? Security what? Vulnerabilities. What? IT systems to prevent what? Exploitation by what? Malicious what? Actors. Okay? Yeah. Incident response and what? Reporting control. Incident response control outline the procedures to follow when what? Security incidents or breaches what? Okay. Including reporting, containment, and what? Recovery what? Measures. Please, I hope you are with me. Yeah. Because I spoke about wife and husband, I have to happy you are getting distracted. Yeah? So they are advice. I'm telling you what happens. Okay. When I was in my teens growing up, I've always moved with big men who have wives. And I know what they do. Who have wives, and I know what they do. I have always moved with guys. Okay, and I know what they do. So I'm saying that don't leave your husband because your husband cheated. You will make a damn mistake.
If the husband is not rich and he cheats on
I'm telling you what you don't know. Because unless you really know, so nobody tell you I'm going to cheat. All right. The big men, when they are low, what they do, what is traveling with? When they are low, so as I'm going to okay. So we are made of flesh and blood. We are all powerful. Me that I control myself to some extent, right? I can't do Incident response and what? Reporting what? Controls. We are saying that incident response control outline the what? Procedures to follow when what? Security incidents or breaches what? Okay, including reporting, containment, and recovery what? Measures. Okay, security awareness and what? Training. This control ensures that employees and users are what? Educated about what? Security best what? Practices. And are aware of what? Potential risks and what? Threats. Okay, yeah, let's move on. We are not just schooling, we are educating. So we bring other matters in. So when you know before it happens, you don't get what? Heart attack, high blood pressure and all that. Information processing control. Information processing control focuses on what? The integrity, accuracy, and completeness of what? Data what? Processing within an organization's what? System. They play a crucial role in what? Ensuring that the information generated by these systems is what? Reliable and what? Trustworthy. Key categories of information processing control include what? Input control. Okay, when I talk about input, what is going inside, right? Yeah. Input control ensures what? Data entered into the system is what? Accurate and what? Complete. You don't do any incomplete thing there. Okay? Everything is accurate and what? Complete. This may involve validation what? Checks to verify data integrity and what? Prevent what? Error. Then processing control. Once there is an input into the system, you process it. Okay? So processing control monitors and oversees the transformation of data as it proceeds within the what? System. Is that not it? I hope you can tell the link. Right? So you put the information, it goes through a process. You have to put in controls to ensure that there is what? Accurate what? Calculation and what? Operation. Do you get it? So that whatever is processed is what? Complete and accurate. Right? Okay? Please, don't frown because I told you the truth. I am not saying I do it. I'm saying that most people do it. And sometimes we can fall victim as humans. Okay? But when you repent and become, don't divorce us.
So you're not just saying that will forgive your fault.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Output control. Are you done? And I don't want to share your husband. Say that again. Then, after you've inputted, and then it has gone through some processes, then what happens? The what? There is an output, okay? And that output must be what? Control. Get it? So, output controls ensures that the information generated by computer system is what? Delivered accurately and what? Securely, okay? What? Authorized what? Users, okay? This include what? Verification, verify the output, distribution, and what? Encryption of output or data. Okay? So the three processes involved when it comes to information technology, we have looked at input, processing, output. Now we look at what? Error handling what? Controls. Error handling controls addresses how errors are what? Identified, reported and what? Managed during what? Data what? Processing. They include what? Procedures for resolving what? Data discrepancies and what? and discrepancies. Right? Do you have any questions? Are you all following? Can I move on? Can I move on? You won't talk again. But what have I done wrong? It's like most people are the girls, especially the women. Okay. Data quality what? Control. Data quality control aims to what? Maintain the overall quality and integrity of what? Data. Throughout 8 what? Life cycle. Including data validation, cleansing and what? Reconciliation what? Processes. Okay. Effective IT controls and information processing controls are what? Vital for organization to what? Manage what? Risk associated with what? Computer system and to meet what? Regulatory what? Requirements. Okay? These controls not only safeguard data, but also contribute to what? Efficiency and reliability of what? An organization, information what? Technology what? Infrastructure. Yeah. I always tell you the truth. Let's move on. Payroll system. When we talk about payroll, what comes into your mind? Payment of what? So the payment of what? Paying what? Salaries. Okay. So that is it. Is anyone on the payroll here? Yeah, we have Labadi Beach, right? Yeah. I think 19th to 21st May. I have a program there. And at Labadi Beach. So, and it starts from Tuesday. So it's likely that you arrange so that that week that I'll be having the program, we might either do it on a Saturday. Okay. So that, yes. Saturday morning. No. Well, why can't you come from Saturday? It doesn't matter. I also came from okay. So we can either make it on a Saturday or a Monday. It's family time, and sometimes family you know some of the sacrifices some of us have made. Listen to me. I was in Osu. I was coming for cost and management accounting class here those days as early as 5:30. Wow. Okay. Because when we come, the lecturer was teaching, was a worker. He was then employed at this oil company. And then you come and teach us and so. And then I will leave also around 4, 5. Then he is after 5. We were having a visitor structure after a few years. That abandoned structure. The class say where to now. You know how we are suffering with campus. I stopped going to church because ICA classes are normally organized on Saturdays and Sundays. And we have to attend. And because I was combining degree with ICA, my time was out. And sometimes you have to reschedule and adjust. So if you want to really get, you have to sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, you don't get. And the more you sacrifice, the more you get. You get it? So don't think that when someone rises to the top, it's easy. You can't be sleeping and not sacrificing and think that it will become easy for you like that. We have some people who are lucky. But what shows that you will be that 1% lucky? That you are walking on the street, a big man sees you, so you can love with your money. And then you will become a rich man's wife. And then the rich man decides to forget every woman and focus on you. How slim it is. Okay, once that is possible, make sure you also make time, okay, to adjust. Okay, so it's in May. So we'll find an appropriate time, okay, so that you can make up on that Tuesday. Because I'm likely to speak at that event. Okay, I'm still talking to them and I have to be there. Okay, and the president is even coming. The vice president is coming. The ministers and the head of states are coming. Okay, so you have to spread your tentacles. You understand? How did I do you talk to me? How did I do you talk to me? We have a lot of people in the NDC that will talk to me. How did I do you teach for 30 minutes? You talk and then you break. Then he was an MP. Sometimes he doesn't even come. We are always there, whether he comes or not, we are always there, making sure that the little time he spends with us. But because he didn't allow the schooling to interfere with the education, he was doing other things. Now he's the Minister of Education. Okay, he was then the Minister of Education. You get it? So in life, you limit yourself to only where you are confined. It will be difficult to succeed beyond your potential. So you make time for other things. If I go in school, the president will identify himself, then I can control you. Is it not an advantage? Okay, so yes, that one is in, I think, from 19 to 21st day. Even after that week, I have another one. Okay, that one is a US program which I've invited. I don't know. I don't think I'll go for that one. Okay, I don't think I'll go. But what I'm saying is that once I'm able to make it for a particular lecture, we should be able to arrange so that we will cover it up. Okay? Right. Payroll system. In the context of a payroll system, control objective, control procedures, control activities, direct control, and indirect controls are what? Fundamental component of an organization's internal control framework. Now, these elements are essential for ensuring that payroll processes is what? Accurate, okay? Compliant, secure, and what? Efficient. Here is an explanation of each of these terms within the context of what? The payroll system. So we are now going to focus on the one so that you understand it better. Okay? Right? Yeah. Control objectives. Control objectives are specific goals, okay, targets that an organization sets to ensure the integrity and effectiveness of the work, payroll processes. In the context of a payroll system, control objectives might include ensuring that employees are paid accurately and what on time. And from organizations, they were very good at that. By 25th, because we weren't fully government. We pay ourselves. Government has a percentage in whatever revenue we make. We have a percentage, and then there's a foreign company to just have a percentage. Okay? So once we pay ourselves well and on time. So by 25th, in some organization, if in the following months, by 10 can you travel, then you are borrowing. The cloud can now is which is not the best. Okay. So Now that you are growing, imagine you need experience. Imagine focus so much on salary. Once you get something to sustain you, manage with it, get the experience, and that experience will take you higher. And on a bigger salary. You get it? Yeah. Safeguarding sensitive payroll information such as employees' data and what compensation data. Okay. It's not everyone who works is how much it takes to remove. Some people, if you let that information out, it's like a big secret out, or you let it out of the bag. So you must make sure that you safeguard such information. Complying with what? Legal and regulatory what? Requirements, okay? Including tax and labor laws. Because every employee pays tax. You know that. They report some tax on the salary and pay on your behalf. Okay? That's you can ensure the compliance in that. You know that every employee pays tax. Okay, after a certain bracket. Okay, was it's a graduated tax calculation. Some people pay higher depending on their salary. Okay? Yeah. So the higher you earn, the higher you pay. Detecting and preventing what? Fraud and unauthorized access to what? Data. Okay? So we are saying that these are the control objectives, okay, of what? Payroll what? Of payroll what? Of payroll systems. Control procedures. Control procedures are the specific actions, policies, and protocols put in place to achieve what? Control what? Objectives. So whatever procedure, policies, actions you put in place to achieve the objective that we just looked at are what? Control what? Procedures. Right? Look, madam, are you with me? You are not. You are doing something on your phone. Eh? Why? Yes. Why? Eh? So please, look. You are so. Okay. They provide the framework for how the organization intends to react to reach its goals in the what? Payroll process. Control procedures in the payroll system may include what? Documenting a clear payroll processes. Policies that outline payment schedules. Okay, tax what? Withholding. The tax that employees pay. What? Withholding tax. Okay, because it is imposed by the employer, paid on behalf of the employee. It's called what? Withholding tax. What does it mean? Implementing segregation of what? Duty to prevent any single individual from having complete control over what? The entire payroll what? Processes. Yes. And then conducting periodic reconciliation of what? Payroll what? Records with general ledger what? Accounts. Right? These are all what? Control procedures. Conducting periodic reconciliation of what? Payroll records with what? General ledger what? Accounts. Requiring authorization and documentation for what? Any what? Changes in employees' compensation or what? Tax what? Withholding. Okay. All these things are what? Control what? Procedures in what? A payroll what? System. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Control activities. Control activities encompasses the day-to-day tasks and processes carried out by what? Employees to implement control procedures effectively, okay, In the context of a payroll system, control activities may include payroll staff following what? Established what? Processing policies and ensuring that employee pay is processed accurately and on what? On time. Okay? Regular reconciliation of payroll records with what? With what? Timekeeping systems, tax reports, and what? Benefit what? Deductions. Okay? Monitoring and verifying employees' what? Data, tax forms, and compliance with what? Tax regulations. Providing training to what? Employees involved in what? Payroll what? Processes to ensure they understand and follow control what? Procedures. Okay? Okay? I hope you get that.
Yes.
Direct what? Controls. Direct controls are specific measures directly related to what? Addressing what? Particular risks or achieving what? Control what? Objectives. Directly related to what? Addressing a particular risk or achieving what? Control what? Objective. In the payroll system, direct controls are measures that directly address what? Specific payroll related what? Risks. Examples of what? Direct controls may include implementing a two-person authorization process for making what? Changes to employees' payroll what? Information. And so even in your phone, you have what? Two-step what? Verification. Yeah. That is to ensure what? No one to protect your what? Your what? Your account. Using inscription and access control to what? Protect what? Sensitive payroll data. Requiring manager approval for overtime or other unusual payroll transaction. Okay? The manager must what? Approve before you go for overtime. Because overtime comes with what? Money. Is that not it? So money means you have to pay me. Okay? So once there is payment, it needs to go be authorized. Alright. Any questions so far? Hello? You have any questions? So what is causing you to interact? Now possibly. What are you thinking about? Stop gossiping. If your wife and you go and gossip in your husband's house, your husband will cheat on you. Indirect control. Husband who cheats, mostly their wife gossip. Yes, so if you don't want your husband to cheat, don't gossip. It's true. Don't be looking at me and see I'm telling you the truth. Once you stop gossiping, your husband will go stop gossiping. Indirect controls. Indirect controls are measures or procedures that support or complement what? Direct controls. Whilst they may not be directly related to specific control objectives, they play a supportive role in achieving other what? Objectives. Examples of indirect controls in a payroll system may include an IT system that generates audit trails and maintain transaction history. Indirect supporting control what? Objectives related to what? Data accuracy and what? Transparency. The second point is IT controls related to access restrictions and what? Password management that indirectly support control what? Objective related to what? Data security and what? Access what? Authorization. Let's move on. You are on inventory system. What are inventories? Stocks. Yes, inventories are stocks. That's right. So when we talk about inventory, we are looking at what? Goods, right?
Yes.
Goods. Physical goods available. Inventory. And it is a high risk area. Do you know that? Do you know inventory like revenue? It's a high risk area. Do you know? Yes. Why? Why don't you know? Wherever there is money, there is likely to be fraud. Is that not it? Maybe a matter of and these days, people, where there are a lot of goods, those who watch over that place, they steal and sell them. Okay? So that place has become also a high risk area when it comes to auditing. Okay? So when you are planning an audit, you make sure you allocate a lot of time and resources there to be able to find out or detect it for the okay. Because when the goods are there like that, the person doesn't have money. Okay, fake the opportunity. But there are goods in the year 2000, 500 class. When you sell it. So inventory system, control objectives. Control objectives are what? Specific goals or targets set by what? An organization to ensure the effectiveness and integrity of what? The inventory management what? Process. Control objective in the context of inventory system might include ensuring that inventory counts are accurate and reflect the true quantities on hand. Otherwise, if they are not accurate and reflect the true quantities on hand, then you give them room for what? Theft. Okay? I remember when I was here living at Usu, there was a certain watchman always coming to me with goods, whether I would buy or not. Maybe it's not a table tennis bat. It's a table tennis ball. A volleyball. Where does he get it from? Is it not from the warehouse where he is watching? Is it not inventory? Okay, so you have to watch, check whether they have it. So if they are not, then you hold whoever is safeguarding that place accountable. You understand? Yeah. So, class captain, you can't be sleeping. That's why I asked you to start. But I'm happy to reach my limits. You easily reach your limits. You have to have capacity. Very rich men don't have capacity. When you are tired, when you relax. No, it's not advisable. You must be active. Don't relax. You have to always be active. You have to play a role. Okay. Ensuring that inventory counts are accurate and what? Reflect the true quantity on hand. Very necessary. Safeguarding inventory from theft, damage, or unauthorized assets is also what? It's also what? A control objective. Complying with what? Accounting standards and what? Tax laws, regulations. A control objective. Detecting and preventing error, discrepancies, and irregularities in what? Inventory what? Records. These are all control what? Objective in the context of what? Inventory what? System. Let's move on. Control procedures. Control procedures are the specific actions, policies, and measures put in place to achieve what? Control what? Objectives. They provide a framework for how the organization intends to reach its goal in the inventory management world process. Control procedures in an inventory system may include implementing regular physical inventory counts to verify the accuracy of what? Recorded inventory what? Quantities. Using segregation of duties to prevent a single individual from what? Having complete control over what? Inventory what? Management. Conducting periodic reconciliation of what? Inventory records with what? Financial statements. Requiring authorization and documentation for changes in what? Inventory valuation and what? Or write-off. Do you understand? You realize that some of the things, the what? We cut across. You get it? Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Are we here? Control activities. All right. All right, I feel like standing here for a while. Control activities encompass the day-to-day tasks and processes carried out by what? Employees to implement control procedures what? Effectively. In the context of an inventory system, control activities may include inventory personnel what? Conducting what? Routine physical what? Count and what? Reconciliation to ensure inventory what? Accuracy. Monitoring and verifying suppliers' deliverables and shipment to confirm the receipt of what? Goods. Implementing access control to restrict physical and system access to what? Inventory and what? To inventory and what? Inventory storage what? Areas. Providing training to what? Employees involved in what? Inventory. Management to what? Ensure they understand and what? Follow what? Control what? Procedures. Right. Any question? Any question? Direct control. Direct controls are specific measures directly related to what? Addressing particular risks or what? Achieving what? Control objectives. And we are saying that examples of direct control may include implementing barcoding and scanning systems to track inventory movement and reduce what? Data entry. Use physical security measures such as locks, alarms, and access restrictions to protect inventory from theft or what? Damage. Requiring management approval for write-off or adjustment to what? Inventory quantities. These are examples of what? Direct control. Stop there. Let's stop. Now. Let's move on. Bank and cash systems. Bank and cash system. Bank and what? Cash system. What do you understand by bank and cash systems? What do you understand by what? Bank and cash system. You either receive payment in cash or what? Or what? Or in check. So, if you receive it in cash, cash will take care of it. If it is in check, you want to take care of it. Alright. Control objectives are what? Specific goals or targets set by an organization to ensure the effectiveness and integrity of what? Bank and what? Cash what? management. In the context of bank and cash system, control objective might include ensuring that cash transaction and bank account balances are accurate and up to date. So you realize that it's almost the same, just that they tailor it to meet the specific area. Okay, if it is bank, then you are looking at ensuring that the cash transaction and bank account balances are accurate and up to date. Okay, yeah. So you should know how you will be able to know the lengths and then the differences, and know what to apply appropriately. Safeguarding cash and bank account from theft, fraud, or unauthorized access. Complying with banking regulations, internal policies, and accounting standards. Detecting and preventing error, discrepancies, and irregularities in cash and bank records. That's how you can't be doing that. Control procedures. We stop okay. Yes. Control procedures are the specific actions, policies, and measures put in place to achieve control objectives. They provide a framework for how the organization intends to rate its in the bank and cash management process. Control procedures in the bank and cash system may include implementing clear policies for cash handling, including the segregation of duty to prevent fraud, requiring dual authorization for bank transfer or cash disbursement above a certain threshold. When I was in charge of the head of accounts in the former organization, please sit upright again. You are tired. I'm also tired. You are more tired, but I should be more tired. Okay. Make sure you sleep. You must sleep. You know you're coming at 1 early morning lecture. So that day, don't sleep there. Sleep alone. You come here and then you are tired. You want to talk to the class? Okay. He wants to talk to you for a minute, okay?
Good morning. Good morning. Get the rest of the time. My name is Ed Samuel. I'm a retired accounting student. And I believe this class is accounting diploma. Guys, you are part of the family. In this coming upcoming election,
so we are bank and cash systems, okay? And we are saying that what are the control objectives? We've done that one. So we are control procedures. Control procedures are the specific actions, policies, and measures put in place to achieve control objectives. They provide a framework for how the organization intends to reach its goal in the bank and cash management process. The control procedures in bank and cash systems may include implementing a clear policy for cash management. What is the policy put in place in the handling of cash? Okay, so that you will explain that if you are, for instance, if you are holding the cash money of about how much? $2,000. That's the cost of it. Then what? The procedure of how you that you don't still sound to be spending. When Nelson Mandela was in prison, his junior lawyer, secretary, was being financed by his wife, and then was enjoying his wife. Hey, this small young boy said, when you marry, let them come close to your wife. That one is a backup. That one is a backup. Who knows Nelson Mandela? Yeah, the legend. Look at how great Nelson Mandela is. He was fighting for the people. As a result, he was in prison. And he was in prison suffering, and then someone was enjoying the wife. Do you know about it? But and then what? You see, that wasn't even the big issue. He was using their party money to finance the wine, the hall. Yes, so it came out when Nelson Mandela was released, and Nelson Mandela divorced him. Nelson Mandela was suspected. He came out and divorced him. And you see how great Nelson Mandela was. Do you know how great Nelson Mandela was? Nelson Mandela died within 24 hours. All the presidents and head of states around the world were in South Africa. Who was then the president? It was Mohammed first. Mohammed was there, but we couldn't even see him. US president was there, Germany president was there, all these big men, British and Cole, they were there. Within 24 hours, so tells you how great that person is. Yet, when he was in prison, someone was in prison. It's an abomination. And the annoying part is that this man too was stronger than Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was around 75, getting to 80 years. And then a young boy like this. When Nelson Mandela said that when they are together, sometimes he realized that the wife will be talking, secretly talking to someone. I don't know who told that guy. Even when Nelson Mandela came out, Waba, at least, he can't, she can't. It's not easy to, when you become addicted to something, it's not easy to stop. You know? Yeah, so we don't even start it. Okay, so I'm just trying to bring this thing out. It's education, okay? So that we learn beyond the class. And if you really know and understand the greatness of Nelson Mandela, like Martin Luther King Jr., all those great men, and yet their wives. Sometimes if they're bad boys, people don't go beside their wife. The good ones, they suffer. You know that? The great ones, the rich men, when they are busy working, people don't take care of their houseboys around them. Busy. Because you don't have time to do it, so you will have time to do it for you. Yeah? So it's not like it's just about the man who they don't buy out in it. We are not going to see. So it's everywhere. So them are open again, no they see what for one. Say I am out. Then you what? Either tell with a guy or something. But this thing happens. Because if you are very good, then I hate you. Doesn't matter whether the person is around what. Close, always there. See you talking, your husband is always traveling, and at this cold weather, hey, it's a threat. It's a threat. So if you are traveling, you ask your husband to go when you come back. Or you let them go. You know, come do that mistake. Do that. Alright, so that is it. So we are saying that implement clear policy for what? Cash handling, okay? Including segregation of duty to prevent what? You have to require dual authorization for what? Bank transfer of what? Cash disbursement, okay? When I was the head of accounts at NCA, when we are going to withdraw money, my boss will have to sign, and I will also have to sign. If he signs a loan, he can't withdraw. And if I also sign a loan, I can't withdraw. That's the dual authorization. Okay. So when you marry, you maintain a dual account with your. So why? So that when you're going to withdraw money or husband that is you can't withdraw. And if you withdraw and you do some for your side check, and she finds out, she approved of it. Is that not it? Otherwise, you couldn't have withdrawn. So she's on. Alright. Conducting regular bank what? Reconciliation to what? Verify the accuracy of what? Recorded what? Transactions. Okay? And then documenting and what? Requiring what? Approval for what? Changes in what? Bank signatories or what? Account what? Assets. All these things are what? Control procedures. Please don't put your head. Relax. Don't put your head. Okay. control activity. Control activity is what? Comprises the day-to-day tasks and procedures carried out by the employee to implement. Haven't we done this? We haven't done it. Employees to implement control procedures what? Effectively. So in the context of bank and cash systems, control activities may include what? Cashier conducting daily what? Cash counts, okay? At the end of the day, make sure you know the cash at hand, okay? And record it, okay? That is what they mean. And reconciling it to ensure what? Cash what? Accuracy. Monitoring and verifying bank transactions and what? Account balances to confirm accuracy and what? Compliance. You do that by going for your bank statement to verify. Right. Yeah. When I was there at every month, if I want to prepare my bank, please, you haven't closed. If I want to prepare my bank reconciliation statement, I go to the bank at the end of the month and I go and request for what? The bank what? Statements. And then when I come, I compare it with what? My card book. And then I prepare my what? Bank reconciliation statements. I submit it to the boss. And then put it in the head of all right, let's move on. Now, direct controls. So, direct controls are specific measures directly related to what? Addressing particular risks in achieving what? Control objective. So, in respect of bank and what? Cash system, we are saying that implement what? Secure cash handling what? Procedures. Also use access what? Control, password, words, okay, and dual authorization for bank account access and what? Transactions. Conduct regular audits of cash transactions and what? Reconciliation to detect what? Discrepancies. Alright, let's move on. Indirect controls. Indirect controls are measures or procedures that support or complement direct what? Controls. So they support. Okay, like a wife supporting the husband. Okay, so the husband is a direct, so the wife is what? Indirect. Do you understand? You accept that wives are indirect. And they're not supporting the husband. And it's in the Bible. So we are now claiming the head. Women, you want to. Alright, so when you look at indirect controls, we are looking at what? As a support system to what? The direct what? Controls. Okay? So while they may be directly related to, while they may not be directly related to a specific control objective, they play what? A supportive role in what? Achieving the other what? Objectives. Okay? So what are they saying? You can't specifically trace it to a particular objective, but on a broader level, the what? You play their roles. Okay. An IT system that generates audit trails and maintain transaction history, indirect supporting, control objective related to data accuracy and what? Transparency. IT controls related to asset restrictions and password management that indirectly what? Supports what? That indirectly supports what? That indirectly what? Supports. That's that. Make sure you sleep early. Okay? So in 20 years time, please don't edit this aspect out. You know that you'll be sleeping in class. Because when I put it there, I wouldn't relate it. Everyone will know that in class, rejoice and then what? And then Saki. Saki was always sleeping in class. What did you do at home? What did you do at home? That's it. sleeping makes you relieve what? Tiredness. So if your sleeping is making you tired, sleeping is what? Your bed is hard. Why is it? Why don't you feel good? So we are done. So have we been able to cover the 3 outlines?
Yes.
Have we are on what? On current assets. Go back and let's look at something. Let's see what we are doing. Go to the course outline. So what have we covered? The use and evaluation of systems of internal control management. We've done tests of control. Okay. So we can end on what? Non-current what? Assets. So we can start that on a good note from there. Next one. Right. Please, at this point, any question? Please, I haven't closed you yet. So take your time. I'm giving you the money bonus. Eh? So, have you understood whatever we've done? You appreciate the internal control systems. You appreciate. So you don't have any questions. So you can end here people.
Yes.
Okay. So we should start thinking of what will happen in May. Okay. And find a day so that, but it should be close to us. Maybe the week that I will be available. We can either on Monday you come here, right? You come for class on Monday. Yeah. From what time to what time? 2 to 5. From what time to 5? It's not from 7 to 5. Is it true? Is it true? I have break. So then we make it the Saturday. No. When you are the Saturday before So we are making it up with another day. Your boss that your class administration. You are a regular student, you don't need to know. The workers, they always mention. Let me show you. I teach ACCA here. I see. Their classes are always mentioned. And all of them are workers. So let's begin to find a day. Either Saturday or Sunday. Because I want you to plan ahead. I want you to plan ahead. When you get there, you start. I want you to have it on the back of your mind. Okay? You can't pause. You can't use a music. No, apart from Tuesday, it's from Tuesday to Thursday. So I'll be available Tuesday. Friday will be okay. Okay, then we can put it on Friday. Friday, you come for class. So we can make it on. Then we can set it on the Tuesday. That will be the 8th Friday. That will be okay. Madam, that will be okay. Friday. I'm telling you the whole time. I think Friday will be okay.
Friday will be okay.
The other class will be okay. We can make it from 8. So Friday, you will decide on the time. Probably from 8 to 1. And then those who are, yes, you know you have to start with Sunday. You see, we are editing it. I'm going to put this one there. We are going to put this there. Now we put this button from there. Don't you don't go. And you don't watch. You are here. You know you have to subscribe. Subscribe now.
See, there are no classes because Chipson said that all the classes are full. So they've assigned every class. So if we don't have the class Tuesday and we are doing some Friday, we won't get class.
Are you saying that all the classes